Ms. Fontaine, thank you for joining us. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's a very exciting evening, and it's what dreams are made of, really. We made history tonight, so it's quite impressive.
Well, that's actually where I want to begin our conversation, because history has been made here. And I'm wondering what that means to someone like you, who has been an advocate for Indigenous rights, for Indigenous justice, for the majority of her adult life. What does this moment mean to you?
I'll tell you a quick story. In 1991, there was a march. It was an Indigenous march in respect of Oka. And my grandmother was walking in that march. And it was all Indigenous people walking down Memorial to the ledge. And a non-Indigenous woman spit at my grandmother and called her a squaw, which is one of the most derogatory things you can call an Indigenous woman. Who would have ever imagined years later that we would have elected the first First Nation premier in our history? Who would have thought all those years later that our NDP caucus has the most Indigenous MLAs anywhere in the country? It's quite extraordinary, and really I want to give honor to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission that brought us on this path. I want to honor my cousin Phil Fontaine that brought us on this path, because it was a path that Canadians and Manitobans have been on for a long time, and tonight is the culmination of all of that. It's an act of reconciliation. This is what true reconciliation looks like.
Does that put pressure on your government from Indigenous communities in Manitoba that have been looking for a sign of progress? Does that put pressure on your government?
Everything puts pressure on a government, but what it does is it allows Indigenous peoples to see themselves reflected. They've never seen what they just saw with Indigenous people on that stage. They've never seen an Indigenous premier. They've never seen Indigenous MLAs. They see themselves reflected in the politics now, and that means they're engaged, and it means that we can all move together to create the province that we can all be proud of, all of us together.
Obviously, when you looked at the polling numbers, Manitoba has put healthcare as the number one concern.
Yeah.
But a search of the Prairie Green landfill could clearly emerge as an issue that people want to talk about as well. What action are Manitobans going to see on that now?
Well, they're going to see action, and I think that our leader, Wab Kinew, has made it explicitly clear that we are going to work with the families. I've met with the families many, many times, and we've always had the commitment that we are going to listen to the families, we're going to work with the families, and they're going to see action. And, you know, more importantly, I think what the families can take from this is that Manitobans, as a province, reject that divisive narrative and that divisive attempt at dividing us. And I think that they can take comfort in that Manitobans are also standing with them.
And in terms of healthcare, as the other issue that emerged out of this campaign, what's the promise to Manitobans?
That we're going to listen. I think it was made explicitly clear almost every single day of this campaign that we understand that healthcare is the number one priority for Manitobans. We take that seriously. We have the expertise in our caucus to get the job done, and that we're going to work with those that are on the front lines. We're going to work with nurses and doctors and allied health professionals, and we're going to make healthcare better in this province. Every single one of us heard it on the doorstep, not just during this election, but for years. That's our commitment, and we've made that explicitly clear during the campaign. And now we get the chance to make it a reality.
Ms. Fontaine, a very big night for your party. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.